Oh, hey, sorry I didn't see you guys there. My bad. Welcome to hopefully not the last show of this football season. Hopefully Flower Bluff can pull it off. It's a tough task. I'm watching a video right now of Katy Peatow. I think that's how you say it now. Chris Thomason put it the correct way to pronounce it on his Twitter. And Katy Peatow, I think I'm saying it right. 12-1, 13-1. Let me get on it. 13-1. Their only loss is Manville. They're killing people. They're only four seasons in, kind of like vet situation. Four seasons in, but I mean they're part of that Katy area. For those of you that don't know, Katy Tigers have like 6 or 7 state championships. Let me look it up because I don't want to give you bullshit numbers. The Katy Tigers have 8 state championships. That has nothing to do with Katy Peatow, but I mean that's the area these kids are from. I'll give you 2 different takes. I'll give you a realistic take because that's what I do my page for. Like I lose followers sometimes because I'm honest and I don't care. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a bullshitter. I'm not fake. So I'll give you my real take and then I'll give you my fantasy take. There'll be 2 different takes, so hopefully I don't lose any followers. I don't want to lose any Flower Bluff followers, man. But I gotta be real though. But I mean, Katy Peatow, fuck that name. You should have chosen another name. And they're killing people. They're huge. You know what? Fuck that. First of all, congratulations, Flower Bluff. First time ever winning the region. Yeah, Flower Bluff goes back to 1943, but they didn't make their entire history. They had 1 playoff appearance in 1982 before this like new run they're on, or this new tradition they got back in 2000. So they won. They won district. They've been around since 1943. They won district in 1982. Other than that, they didn't make the playoffs again until the year 2000 under Coach Mike Crow. And then again, 2002 under Bill Shackey. Yeah, since there's only Flower Bluff's the only team left, we'll do a little bit of Flower Bluff history or something. Flower Bluff started I don't want to say their school opened in 1943. Their first football season was 1943. They went 0-3. 1982 was the first time they made the playoffs. They won district under Mike Richardson. And then they won another 18 years without making the playoffs again until 2000 under Coach Mike Crow. And then 2 years later under Bill Shackey, if I'm saying that right. Yeah, so I know if you're from Flower Bluff, like Daryl Andrus gets all the credit for kind of starting the new tradition you have, but Daryl Andrus started in 2005 was his first district playoff appearance. His first season as a coach there, actually. Making the playoff tradition started in 2000 under Mike Crow, then 2002 under Bill Shackey, then again 2004 under Bill Shackey. Then Daryl Andrus got there in 2005 and started this run you've had where you didn't miss the playoffs again until 2015. So Daryl Andrus was there during the first run you had about multiple playoff appearances in a row, but it was started in 2000 under Mike Crow and then it continued in 2002 under Bill Shackey. But Daryl Andrus is the one that was there when this whole run started where you make the playoffs every year except for 2015. Then Steinbreck took over in 2014, won district that year, went 12-1. They made the playoffs 2015 he was there when they didn't make the playoffs, but that's the only 2015 is the only year Flower Bluff didn't make the playoffs in like the last 17 years. They have an all-time record of 375 wins, 403 losses, 22 ties. They're 19-6 in the playoffs. No, they're 28-19 in the playoffs. They've had 3 undefeated regular seasons. I think all those came in the Andrus and Steinbreck. Yes, all those came 2005 under Daryl Andrus, 2012 under Daryl Andrus, and 2014 under Chris Steinbrecker, the 3 seasons you all have had where you went undefeated in the regular season. But yeah, all your playoff appearances are like pretty much within the last 21 years. Other than that, it's just only had 1 before that. But so there's just some history right there for the Flower Bluff fans watching this Like I said, I'll do a little bit of that because there's just not Flower Bluff. I didn't expect Refugia to lose last week, but Flower Bluff's the only team left. But so we'll give a little bit of history on them. And like I already said before, Katy Peatow has only been around 4 years, but that doesn't matter because they broke off from if it's Katy, so they broke off from around that Katy area where the Katy Tigers have won 8 state championships. And there's Katy Cinco Ranch. There's just a bunch of Katy schools now that have been broken off, but it's just these are kids that are just super talented in that area, out of the Houston area. This won't be the last episode though, as far as football goes, because the cutoff numbers will be announced pretty soon from the UIL for the new realignment. So we'll have an episode about that. And then once the new districts are announced, I think the first week of I could be wrong. I think the first week of February, the new districts are announced. And so we'll have another episode of that. So that'll be 2 more episodes right there of just football. But I'm going to try and do stuff like this I hate to get into baseball because I'm just not really knowledgeable about baseball. I have a friend, Javier Guzman, that has his own Facebook page that's super baseball knowledgeable, man. That guy and his followers in South Texas, let me look it up before I give you the wrong. That friend of mine, he's just like super baseball knowledgeable. And he started his page about a year ago and it took off fast. And there's a lot of people that comment on there and post on there, and they're all super baseball knowledgeable. If you want to know about baseball, go follow this page. Let me look it up real quick. Okay, here it is. South Texas High School Baseball. You got to join it. Go join the group because, man, honestly, they don't even have as many followers as me yet, but they have a lot of interaction there. There's a lot of interaction. Everybody, and that's what gets me jealous. I wish you guys would interact more. I wish you guys would share the page more. Yeah, go follow South Texas High School Baseball on Facebook. There's a lot of baseball stuff on there if you want to know anything about baseball. Anyway, back to the Flower Bluff Katy Peatow. Katy Peatow's a beast. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how to explain it. Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, everybody from around here was competing with the rest of the state. It didn't matter. My theory is that back then everybody ran these run-based offenses where anyone could kind of compete with anybody because everyone was very simple. It was just I formations, power I formations, flex bone, wishbone. It was offenses like that it wasn't spreading the athletes out, and that's why we were able to compete back. That's my theory. Is why we were able to compete with anyone in the state back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then at some point in the last 20, 25 years, it's just no one can compete with the rest of the state other than Refugia and Calallen. Anybody can, the point I'm trying to make is anybody can be that great if they want to. Some people work harder than others. Just is what it is. It's not natural. There's no such thing as natural. There's no such thing as God-given. Some people just work harder than others to get what they want. Teams from north of here, they work harder than we do. That's just what you got to believe because it's just, there's no other, look, I know we don't, there's no other reason to say, you can't compete with the rest of the state. There's no reason for it. I think what helps why Flower Bluff is the one team around here that has an even or winning record against Calallen in the last 20 years since they started their nice little tradition. They have huge O linemen and D linemen. They have that one number 70 guy he was committed to Virginia Tech. I don't know. So Flower Bluff has the Dixon. So to get back into some of the Katy Peatow stats Katy Peatow has 736 points scored in the year and only 149 scored against them. Dude, they're killing people, but I'll get to that in a minute. Why? I'll give my realistic score prediction, and then I'll get into one where it's like, okay, this was I'm speaking from my gut or my heart, whatever you want to call it, and it's not realistic, but there's a realistic example I'm going to give. You just got to put in the work that the rest of the state puts in that apparently we're not putting in. And to me, in my opinion, it starts with non-district scheduling. You can't schedule. I'm not gonna pick on certain teams to say this team schedules that team or that team because it's just not. I'm not trying to make certain teams look bad. But if you're like an elite program, or you want to think of yourself an elite program, and you're scheduling, since I'm not going to name teams, fuck it, I'll just say it. If you're scheduling scrub programs for your non-district, you're never going to take that next step. You know, being from Alice, one of the things I love when Sosa was here, he scheduled Port Arthur Memorial twice. Port Arthur Memorial is, if you've never seen them, man, especially in 2010, 2011 when Alice played them, dude, they look like a junior college team. And I give much credit to Sosa for scheduling them twice. That's what Cal now usually schedules tough teams. But that's what you got to do. You got to schedule teams like that for non-district. To get your kids, it doesn't matter if you take a loss or you take a big loss. Eventually down the road, it's going to pay off. You know, your kids are going to say, that's what I want to be like. I want to have that kind of talent. I want to have that kind of success. Man, if you're scheduling the Little Giants for your non-district schedule, man, it's going to look good on your coaching record, which is, I guess, what you're worried about. But it's not going to help your kids out to schedule the Little Giants for a non-district. You're not preparing yourself for teams like that you're going to face in the 4th and 5th round of the playoff, even 3rd round, sometimes 2nd round. You know, last year Alice played Austin LBJ in the 2nd round of the playoffs. The Austin LBJ is a beast. Like, it's just, you can't schedule scrub teams for your non-district. If you're worried about your record as a coach, you're screwing over your kids, man. You're screwing over your kids because you're not preparing them for the playoffs. If you're satisfied with that and you want an extra win on your record, on your history, fuck it. Schedule Little Giants for non-district, but you're not preparing anybody for the playoffs, man. On paper, Flower Bluff should lose this game. Like I said, it is 63-7 on paper. It is what it is. But then let's go back to 2 years ago when Flower Bluff played San Antonio Wagner in the playoffs. On paper, Flower Bluff was supposed to lose that game 63-7 also. Dude, nobody thought Flower Bluff was going to hang in that game, me included. Me and my dad were lucky enough to go to that game at the Alamo Stadium in San Antonio, my favorite stadium ever, the Rock Pile. Flower Bluff impressed, man. I was critical of their hiring of Steinbrook and staying within house when they hired Steinbrook up to that point. But then that game, Flower Bluff impressed. They made South Texas proud. Everyone thought they were going to lose by 50, 60 points, and they almost pulled it off, man. They lost, I think it was 42-38. They lost by 4 or 5 points that game, man. So that's the thing. If you're like Coach Steinbrook, you want to point out to your kids, it's just everybody thought you were going to get blown out that game too, but you came out with the right game plan. Your kids played their ass off, their heart out, and they barely lost the game that they were supposed to lose by 40, 50 points. They lost by 4 points. They almost pulled it out there at the end. So on paper, if Flower Bluff's supposed to get blown out this game, but if Steinbrook has another game plan, like he did 2 years ago against Wagner, I think 2 years ago, was that the year Wagner blew out Vets? Let me look it up, because I'm going to give you bullshit. I don't want to give you bullshit again. Let me look it up. Yes, that was the same season Flower Bluff almost upset Wagner that 2 games later in the playoffs, they beat the shit out of Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. Nobody was supposed to hang with Wagner that year, not from this area, not Flower Bluff. You know, like I said, Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial lost to Wagner that year 74-14. Flower Bluff barely lost to them by 4 points. So you shouldn't get down on yourself if you're a Flower Bluff fan. You shouldn't think, oh, everyone thinks, it is what it is, man. If you come up with a badass game plan and your kids play their ass off, they exploited Wagner 2 years ago. Steinbrook found this when we were my dad were watching it, one of the things that helped Flower Bluff that day was they kept going deep. And that's not what they do. Flower Bluff's not an air-it-out team. They don't go deep. But they went deep against Wagner. It scored. It made a big play, and it kept happening. So the coaches went with it. They adjusted. They kept doing it. And Wagner, for whatever reason, couldn't cover it. They weren't expecting it, maybe. That's not what Flower Bluff does. They're not an air-it-out team. They don't go deep all the time. At least back then. I mean, so anything can happen. But I always give the realistic prediction, where I think it's just going to be, like I said, on paper, Flower Bluff should get blown out this game. But what if they come up with a game plan like they did 2 years ago against Wagner? It's what if the Peatow kids are taking Flower Bluff lightly? But shit happens sometimes, and then, like I said, it is what it is, man. Flower Bluff almost upset Wagner 2 years ago. Why can't they do it again? There's no pressure on Flower Bluff. No one expects them to win this game. No one even expects this game to be close. So there's zero pressure on the Flower Bluff kids, and if they take that approach and they just play loose and they just have fun with it, there's no reason they can't keep it close. Or even, like I said, this team, this Katy Peatow team, is not any better than the Wagner team from 2 years ago that Flower Bluff almost upset. So yeah, on paper it should be a blowout, but why can't this be the time that Flower Bluff says fuck it and they win? I've had 4 shots of this, so I'm gonna go ahead and instead of I'm gonna go with my heart this time and just say, and as my homer, like, fuck it, I want the local team to win. And I'll say Flower Bluff does what they almost did 2 years ago and upsetting Wagner, and they do it this time. It would be nice to see Flower Bluff play for a state championship, man. And what helps them, like I said, is that they have a big line on the O and D. They have a big offensive and defensive line. They have big kids. That's why they're always able to compete with Calallen. They don't get pushed around by their linemen. Even when they don't have the greatest skill position kids, they're still able to do that because they have that big line, a big O line, and big D line. You know, I want some views and likes on this video, so I'm gonna say, dude, I'm gonna say fuck it. I wouldn't have done this, but like I said 2 years ago with the whole Flower Bluff almost beating Wagner thing, and Wagner's better than this Katy Peatow team. I'm hoping that happens again. I'm hoping they find a way to find the magic they had that night, whatever it was, the coaching, the kids stepping to the next level. I'm hoping Flower Bluff finds a way and wins this game. I don't know how to predict the score because, like I said, I'm just predicting with my heart and my hoping, and just hoping the local team does good. But so I'm just gonna have a homer moment, and let's just say Flower Bluff wins 31-28. You can do it. Like I said, you almost upset Wagner a few years ago when you weren't supposed to even compete in that game. High school kids are weird. If you punch the Katy team in the mouth right away, you never know how they're going to react because they've been dominating all season. With the exception of one game they lost, they've been dominating everybody and dominating really good teams. So you never know how kids, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids are going to react when you punch them in the mouth, man. These aren't professional kids. You got to make a statement right away. If you go behind 14 points, 21 points, don't expect to come back. I'm just being real. It's just being real. But if you punch them in the mouth and go up 14 points right away, you do everything the right way. You get up by 2 or 3 I'm going to say 3 touchdowns. You're not. But if you get up by 1 or 2 touchdowns right away and you surprise them, you never know what can happen. So I'll say, and I'm just hoping, and I'm being honest about it this time. It's not realistic me talking. It's just from the gut, from the heart. I want a local team to do good. It's just, I'll say Flower Bluff 31, Katy Peatow 28. And so I hope there's a video to make next week, man. I hope Flower Bluff pulls this out. One of the things I like about this stuff that I do now is I'm not just dedicated to one team, the team I played for and where I went to school. It's just the last, 2017, I was only doing this for Alice, but 2018, I started doing it for everybody. So it's 2018, 19, 20, 20. It's 4 years now doing it for a bunch of local schools, not just my alma mater. And it's just, you see things different. I'm happy for all local teams, man. When I was all about Alice in 2017, I fucking hated Calallen, man. I hated Calallen, I hated Flower Bluff, I hated Gregory Portland. Just being honest, man. But it just, once 2018, 2019, 20, 21, I've been doing all schools, local schools. It makes you have a love for just local, all things local, all things South Texas, man. It just, even that Flower Bluff Wagner game I was referencing 2 years ago, is me and my dad were watching it there at Alamo Stadium, and it was just when they almost pulled it off, when it got close, and it was, I had a certain sense of pride in me, and it was like, man, I didn't play for Flower Bluff. I played for Alice. Why do I feel this sense of pride watching Flower Bluff play? But it was just, they represented our area well, man. You got to pull for stuff like that. You got to cheer for stuff like that. Don't be an asshole in the comment section rooting against all local teams all the time. Well, actually, yes, keep doing it because it, it keeps the traffic going. So fuck it. But, I mean, you know, be proud of local. Just because your team's not in the playoffs anymore doesn't mean you have to, like, be an asshole to the teams that are left. So, you know, good luck to Flower Bluff. I hope they pull it out. I'm going to stick with my 31-28. They win score prediction, but Katy Peatow ain't no joke, man. If Flower Bluff pulls this off, it'll be one of the biggest wins in this area's history, period. It doesn't matter. It's not a state championship. It doesn't matter. It's just that team is loaded. They're really, really good. But Flower Bluff has that size. They have that size on the line, on the offense, on the defense. They have a huge quarterback. If these kids just everybody has something in them that's a next level. You just need the right coach to say, hey, get that fucking next level out, man. And hopefully Steinberg does that this game. Hopefully their assistants do that. Hopefully they find a way to overcome this, man. Because it would be nice to see Flower Bluff play for a state championship. Anytime a local team can do that, it's great, man. So good luck to the Flower Bluff Hornets. I hope you guys pull it off. I'm pulling for you guys. I wish everybody locally would pull for you guys. Stop being haters. Yeah, so this is going on too long for only one team being involved. So I'm gonna end it here, but I'm gonna do another episode maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm gonna do another episode on mock realignments. Dave Campbell's Texas Football has a bunch of mock realignments out for all the different classifications for the new realignment that's coming out in February. They have the mock realignment done, but so I'm gonna do an episode on that. I'm gonna look at all the different realignments they're mocking, what they think the realignments are gonna be, and then I'm gonna study it, and so I can be a little more fluid when I'm doing this. And yeah, but we'll do a mock realignment episode, and I'll be either tomorrow or Wednesday. So we'll be out either Wednesday or Thursday. I'll do a mock realignment episode. Yeah, but like I said, you know, it's not just better for me if you guys share these videos and grow the page. It's better for you because how much more fun would it be for you guys if this page had 100,000 followers instead of only 6,000? Corpus Christi Chronica has almost 100,000 followers, dude. And that dude deserves it. Like, he's fucking crazy. He goes everywhere and films everything. But, you know, there's no reason a page like this can't have that also. So, you know, it's just like I said, it doesn't matter if it's not your team. Share the videos, hit the like button, share the videos, comments. It helps grow the page, man. So I appreciate all of you following this. I think we're a little over 6,100 followers right now. My goal is, before the new football season starts, it would be nice to finally get to that 10,000 followers. I'm not gonna hold my breath. You know, you got share the fucking videos, share the graphics, share everything. Like I said, don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. It'll be so much more fun on this page if there's more followers, as opposed to the same people commenting all the time. But I do appreciate all of you. So thank you for following this page, and we'll see you in a day or two with a mock realignment episode. Thank you guys.